You design a 5 kilowatt off-grid system, calculate your loads perfectly, and yet the breaker keeps violently snapping off. The system shuts down even when you are pulling well under the maximum label rating. If you search for a solution online, the most common advice you will find is dangerously simple. Your breaker is too small, so just install a bigger one. That advice assumes electrical protection devices operate as simple digital switches that trip the exact moment a static amperage threshold is crossed. It also assumes that the 5 kilowatt continuous rating printed on the side of your inverter box means the system can output that peak power infinitely without any physical consequences. The reality is that breakers and internal components respond to two intersecting variables: the magnitude of the current and the duration it is applied. Many DIY installers misdiagnose their power systems because they calculate their power needs on paper, but fail to account for the physical, thermal limits of a low-voltage, high-current environment. We are going to map real electrical measurements, comparing continuous draw against peak current, to see what actually forces a system offline. A nuisance trip is rarely a faulty piece of hardware. It is a vital diagnostic symptom pointing to an unbalanced physical system. Most system design begins at the outlet, calculating the single-phase AC load of the appliances you want to run. Looking at this 48V system schematic, the AC side behaves according to a straightforward formula. Current equals power divided by voltage. Higher power demands draw higher current, resolving to a relatively low amperage on the 120 or 240 volt output. The calculation error happens when designers assume that low AC current directly translates to the DC battery side. Moving to the battery side, the formula changes. We have to introduce a new variable: inverter efficiency. The DC cables must supply both the required AC power and the additional energy lost to heat within the inverter itself. When the load approaches a full 5 kilowatt demand on a 48-volt battery bank, those efficiency losses drastically inflate the required amperage. The input requirement quickly spikes well past 100 amps. Suddenly, every DC breaker, heavy-gauge battery cable, busbar, and fuse in your setup is forced to carry a massive, sustained load. This sustained demand is completely different from the surge rating advertised on the box, which is strictly temporary and not built for continuous operation. Pushing a system right up to its continuous limit for long periods heavily stresses the internal MOSFETs and transformers. Evaluating your system solely on AC load calculations hides the massive thermal stress actually occurring on your DC infrastructure. That 100 amp calculation relies on a perfectly stable 48-volt battery bank, which is physically impossible under a heavy load. The internal chemistry of a weak or heavily taxed battery physically cannot maintain peak voltage when demand spikes. This is known as battery voltage sag. This graph illustrates the required inverse relationship to maintain constant power. As voltage falls, current must rise. During a high load event, the collapsing voltage forces the inverter to pull even more amps to compensate. That rising current plugs directly back into the cable voltage drop equation. Voltage drop equals current multiplied by resistance. As the current climbs, the physical resistance of the cables causes an even greater voltage drop before the power ever reaches the unit. A cascading feedback loop takes over. Lower voltage at the inverter demands higher current, and that higher current creates even further voltage drop along the wire. This cycle rapidly converts electrical energy into heat at your terminals and deep inside your breaker housing. It triggers repeated overload shutdowns that amateur installers consistently and incorrectly blame on failing inverter hardware. A weak battery creates an active overcurrent crisis, pushing the entire DC infrastructure toward thermal failure while reducing total runtime. The thermal stress peaks the moment a heavy motor load, like an air conditioner or a well pump, is introduced to the system. Motor loads demand an immense startup surge, often pulling 3 to 7 times their rated running current to overcome inertia. This chart shows the specific mechanism designed to handle this surge, the breaker time current curve. The first zone of protection is the magnetic trip region. If a rapid 5 times current spike occurs, the breaker reacts instantaneously to stop a severe short circuit or massive inrush. This spike happens in milliseconds. You need a clamp meter with a peak hold function to even register it, which explains why compressors will instantly trip perfectly good breakers on startup. The second zone of protection operates on a completely different timeline, the thermal trip region. Look at a continuous load operating just slightly above the breaker's rating, say 110%. The line slowly marches upward over several minutes, quietly warming the internal bimetallic strip inside the breaker housing. This specific timeline is what confuses DIY installers. The system runs flawlessly for several minutes, leading them to believe it is safe, right up until the accumulated heat forces the trip. Breakers are not digital switches. They are mechanical devices responding to the physical reality of the heat trapped inside them. Relying on an inverter's temporary surge rating is a dangerous illusion. The time current curve dictates sustained thermal load is the ultimate arbiter of system survival. All heat generation in this system is governed by a strict mathematical rule: current squared multiplied by resistance. Because the current value is squared, even tiny increases in the load produce exponential spikes in thermal stress. This is where minor installation errors become critical. A terminal that is not properly torqued introduces localized resistance into the circuit. Thermal cameras routinely reveal these hidden points of resistance. They show terminals slowly carbonizing under intense white-hot stress, long before a catastrophic failure is visible to the naked eye. Ambient temperature plays a role here as well. A hot inverter room or a sealed rooftop box preheats the breaker's internal elements, causing it to trip far below its actual label rating. The environment itself alters the physical math. A breaker sitting in a hot enclosure has already lost a percentage of its capacity before a single amp is ever drawn. This brings us back to the advice we started with. Just install a larger breaker. That logic contains a fatal flaw. Breakers are engineered to protect the wire insulation, not the appliances plugged into the system. If you increase the breaker size without verifying the cable ampacity, the copper wire instantly becomes the weakest link. The oversized breaker ignores the danger entirely, while the wire insulation begins blistering and melting away from the metal. To prevent this, professional engineers rely on a standard known as protection coordination. Protection coordination is the precise mathematical alignment of cable ampacity, fuse ratings, breaker curves, and inverter limits, ensuring the system fails safely and predictably. Before you blame the inverter for a shutdown, verify the battery voltage under load, check your terminal tightness, and measure the true startup surge of your heavy appliances. Safely delivering power in a high-current 48-volt system requires abandoning assumptions. You have to respect that heat and current always tell the truth.